welcome to the final webinar of our first ever V1 Sports Virtual Summit. Quickly, thank you so much to Mike Brown for the brilliant idea. Thank you to Kelly and her team for pulling it off. Haley, Anna, and Jane have been tuned in and helping us just constantly. They've worked their butts off. Thank you to those that have joined us over the last 2 days. Thank you for all the comments and emails that you've sent me already. We've had an incredible lineup of guest speakers, including Brian Mock, Mike Bender, Jake Thurm, Dana Dahlquist, and tonight, Cheryl Anderson. If you missed any of those seminars, they will be available on our YouTube channel in the next couple of days. The amazing team's about to put a whole bunch of cool stuff in the chat window. One of them will be the link to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are offering PGA, MSR, and LPGA CU credits to all coaches attending. You have to watch them live, so if you're not watching right now, you are too late. But if you forgot to register with your PGA or LPGA number, send that to Kelly, marketing@v1sports.com, and she will get credit from the PGA, LPGA for your attendance. To all of the folks that are joining tonight, we love answering questions. Cheryl and I do not really have an agenda tonight. We're just gonna pick her brain about what she does best. So please put questions in the chat that we can answer. She's got cool videos to share, but we will pepper in whatever questions you have along the way. If you don't know, if you're not tired of seeing my voice or seeing my face or hearing my voice, I am Mandy Von Seat, Southeast Regional Sales Manager for V1 Sports. I am based in Charleston, South Carolina. You have heard me say this again, but if there's anyone new, V1 Sports is a 25-year-old company and the leader in delivering video analysis and instruction solutions to golfers and golf instructors around the world. In addition to our software solutions, we provide hardware solutions, including high-speed cameras and computers, and of course, that awesome V1 pressure mat, the world's most powerful and portable solution to measure pressure, velocity, and dynamic force throughout the golf swing. I'm really proud of the seminars we've done. So just speaking about what we do, we've got seminars about software. We've got seminars about hardware. We've got seminars about V1 game and V1 coach. And of course, multiple about the V1 pressure mat. If you're building a golf studio, don't miss the one that I did with Craig and Gary Palace a few hours ago. It was packed full of information. I am so excited and grateful to welcome back my new friend, Cheryl Anderson. She joined me several weeks ago for my Tuesday Traces webinar, and we got so many people that emailed positive feedback and questions and comments about how awesome the hour was. We had to have her back to continue our conversation about teaching with video analysis and ground forces. If you don't know the rock star that she is, Cheryl Anderson is the Director of Instruction at Mike Bender's Golf Academy in Lake Mary, Florida. She is the first Golf Digest America's Top 50 teachers to join us on a Tuesday Traces, and she has been recognized by Golf Magazine as one of America's top 100 teachers since 2013. She is one of LPGA's top 50 teachers and won the LPGA Teacher of the Year in 2006. You know, I always say your pro should play golf. Listen to this. Cheryl's one of the best female club pro players ever. In 2004, she earned the Met PGA Section Women's Player of the Year award for the 5th season in a row. She's also the only woman to ever have won all 3 Met PGA women's events in one season. I'm sure Greg will attest to how difficult the Met PGA section is over in the chat screen since he played with her there. Cheryl, I know we talked about this, or welcome, sorry, excuse me, before I jump into questions, welcome to our virtual summit, and thank you for sharing your time with me tonight.
Thank you, Mandy, and everyone at V1 for having this. It's a great thing that you've done, and I've really enjoyed being a participant, so thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I think it's pretty special. We got PGA approved credits, but then also LPGA, which we get 2 LPGA credits for attending. That's pretty cool, right?
Very.
Yeah. Okay, so I know we talked about this in our last webinar, but can you share for those that are new how you got into golf instruction?
You know, I grew up hitting golf balls up in Lake Placid, New York. I go up there in the summertime, and I grew up hitting with hickory clubs. That's what my grandfather had in the field. So I always enjoyed hitting golf balls. I played in high school, actually, because I had a crush on the guy on the golf team. That's the only reason I tried out for the team. And I actually was decent. And I went and played in the Connecticut Amateur and I finished second. And then before I know anything, my dad got me into Rutgers University to play golf there. So I was like, whoa. And I played there for 4 years. I got better each year. And then the following summer, I ended up working at a country club for Brendan Walsh, who's now at Brookline in Massachusetts. And I fell in love with, I knew nothing about what a golf professional did, or I didn't spend a lot of time around a country club, but Brendan Walsh really inspired me. And that's how I got into becoming a golf pro.
That's awesome. You're not just a pro, you're a player and an instructor, and have all sorts of cool things in your resume. And by the way, I've asked that question to all the folks that I've hosted with, and they all have very, honest answers about growing up at a range. Dana says he's a self-proclaimed range rat. Craig Trahan, same thing as me. I love the honesty that there was like a cute boy on the golf team.
That's all it was.
Absolutely something that I would have answered to that question. So thank you for that. And as the last seminar of a very long 2 days, but fun and successful 2 days, I can appreciate the chuckle. So thank you for that. I know you've been at Mike's Academy for 10 years. Can you share with us a little bit about how you share with us a little bit about being and teaching under Mike Bender, because he is absolutely a V1 partner and a V1, believer in the V1 environment. So can you talk to us a little about working with Mike for 10 years?
Mike has been my longtime coach, actually. I've known Mike for over 24 years probably now. So I used to come down in the winters and take lessons from him. And so he was my mentor. And I'd have him come up and teach with me at the clubs in New York. So I've been around V1 ever since I've known Mike, and teaching with Mike every day. I really do have a dream job. I wanted to move down here. I left home. I made a big move with my husband, 1,200 miles from home, because I really wanted to work next to Mike and keep learning from him. And I learned something every day. I really do. So it's a great environment.
Great environment and fun, right? Like, yes. I keep talking about how much fun my team is. And you and I are both exhausted. We worked 14 hours today, but I'm still having fun, right? Because the team is so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, we leave there at night, we're exhausted, but we just laugh the whole way walking back to our cars, about our days, and it's a fun environment.
That's a good thing. Just one daughter, Cheryl? Just curious.
Yes, she's 14. Yes.
Is she a golfer?
She is, Mandy. She's actually decent. My daughter has Down syndrome, and she's in the Special Olympics. And Amy Bockerstad is our model, right?
Yep.
That blew our hearts away playing with Gary Woodland. So
at Waste Management, right? Just last year.
That's right.
Just a year ago.
My daughter loves. She really enjoys the game.
That's awesome. Remind me later to tell you. Someone mentioned the 1% rule in one of our seminars, and I immediately perked up. We'll talk about that later. Okay. So how long ago did you add the pressure mat, and how long did it take for you to figure it out?
I'd say about 4 years ago. I can't remember exactly, but Michael Wheeler, a pro, came over and showed it to us. And I was like, oh, this is a no-brainer, right? It's affordable, it's easy to use. And I love that we could just throw it in a bunker. So I think I started using it the next day. It wasn't that hard to figure out, especially the one with the footprints. So yeah.
Your videos from our Tuesday Trace were all about short game and throwing it in the sand trap and doing all sorts of cool stuff. So many people have commented on that. Yeah, it's so awesome. So many people have commented on that, and it's very easy to use if you just get it out there and mess around with it. Okay, Cheryl, how often do you use V1 video analysis in your lessons?
Nearly every single lesson. It's just part of the academy. I mean, every lesson we give, we're using V1, and we do a nice before and after video for our students. And then we also do a review where we discuss the drills and how to set them up, and we send that to the students. So it's a nice personalized go away, and they love that, because it's about, people come to us to get a prescription. So we show them what to do. And then the most important thing is, how do you set it up yourself? So having the V1 and we've been through the VCR tapes, the DVDs, and it's so nice to just have it online.
You don't have to do anything, right?
No.
Dana Dalquist said, video is there to show you what you're doing. And then the golf professional's there to tell you how to fix it, right? But you have to have the visual first in order to see it, right? And then the golf professional can say, okay, see what you're doing now. Here's how to fix it or change it.
Yeah, and again, people can't believe, like they think they're making the move half the time and it's not exaggerated enough. So it's nice we have a bay at the academy and we can pop in there and just show somebody real quick on the video or the pressure mat. They're like, oh yeah, I got to do it more. So
yeah, it's never what you think it is, right?
No.
Can you share a little bit about your voiceover video analysis process? How long does it take? Do you always attach a drill? Tell us about what your video lesson looks like in that process.
Yeah, I'd say the last 10 minutes of an hour-long lesson, we'll spend summarizing the main points of the lesson and explain how to set up a certain drill. And that's it. So it's a nice time for the student to observe, make sure that they understand it, any last minute questions. And then we go in, we each have our own office and we sit down and we watch the video and look at the before and the after. And then we send the final review to them. So they get 3 videos per lesson. I mean, if I see someone regularly, I'm not going to do that all the time. I'll spend more time out on the lesson tee with them, but it's certainly a must with any new student.
Absolutely. I have a lot of golf professionals ask me all the time because we're selling the software and we're suggesting they do voiceovers to have that sticky customer. And they say, well, when should I do it? I don't want to teach all day and then go home and do voiceovers all night.
Yeah, no. We do it right in the lesson. And I think the students really appreciate that. Like I said, it gives them time to just hear it one more time and make sure they don't have any last minute questions.
That's so great. And then it keeps you from having to remember things right later. And you get to go spend time with that 14-year-old instead of sitting in front of your computer. Okay, so I would love to see some videos.
All right, so let me share my screen here. What do you want to see first? Putting, full swing, wedge?
Short game.
All right. You know what? Let me make sure this is working first.
We see your screen share.
Okay. Well, why don't we just start with this one?
How about it? I love it. It's a pressure mat video, even better.
Yeah, so I should probably find the before. Well, I'll just go into the after since it's up. We're hitting about a 25-yard pitch shot here. This is tonight before I came home. This girl, she was constantly swinging left, kind of cutting across it, coming over the top. So I threw down the mat, and what I noticed was she had a lot of pressure in her right toe area and her left heel area as she was swinging. So I suggested, you know what, let's go a little unconventional now and close your stance a little bit, because I had to get rid of that over the top out to in path. So I had her pull her right foot back a little bit. You could see some pressure in the right heel here in the setup. I'll blow that up. So she's got 80% in her right heel. And then I said, put some more pressure in your left toe. So we've got about 70% in the left toe in the setup. All right. And then I just made her swing. And it was unbelievable, the before and after. Like, she automatically started coming down from the inside. She hit it smack in the middle and the club's going nicely down the line. That was all from her pressure.
It's amazing.
So he was thrilled. I was thrilled. And another miracle from Body Track.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. So, if you tend to have a path that's going a little left, you'll usually have kind of a steeper divot. It kind of feels like it digs. You might suffer from some skulls as well.
Right.
So typically the path is a little too far left if you're a right-handed golfer. So try closing the stance and, have the concept of swinging a little bit into down the line or into out, and try getting a little pressure in the heel and the left toe.
That's awesome. Golly.
And
How
another
long did that
swing.
take you?
Oh, a minute? Literally a minute, because she's in our elite program. So I literally had about 12 kids out there.
Okay.
And I'm going through them one at a time, checking out their technique tonight. And I was like, let me just throw the pressure mat down and try to adjust this that way. It was terrific.
So you didn't take 7 or 8 videos. You didn't have 20 minutes of conversation. You didn't.
No, I didn't have time for that, really. I had like 11, 12 kids lined up. I got to be quick.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I'm
see the problem, right? I know it's out to in. The ball flight was low, chunky.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, let's try this. And it felt great to her. It looked great to me.
Awesome.
I moved on to the next person.
So good.
This man I had today for a putting lesson. Okay. And so he's a pretty good player. He's like a 4 handicap, and I had him on the Sam Putt Lab lesson, Sam Putt Lab. And his path was like consistently 4 degrees left, 4 to 5 degrees left. And his setup looked good to me. His shoulders were nice and square. That's something that I look for. I like the left arm above the right arm, right? He looks good. He's got a square stance. I asked him what his concept was. Are you trying to swing straight back, straight through, or a little arc? He said an arc. Good answer, right? So that wasn't the issue. Then you could see I put those balls down on the ground just to try to get him to feel like he's coming a little inside to miss the back ball there.
Right.
Go down the line. That still didn't do it, right? It was still like 3 degrees left. So I said, okay, well, let me go get the body track. So I ran out, grabbed it from the bay, plugged it up to my phone. It took about a minute.
Yep.
I said, all right, go ahead and set up here. And I looked at his pressure. Okay, well, let's see here. He has more pressure in the right toe area, like 60%, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
And more pressure in the left heel.
Right.
But I like that he had 60% in his left side. But I said, let's just try putting more pressure in the right heel and the left toe, like I did with that other girl in the chipping, right?
Right.
So I'll just show you his stroke before. You could see it. It's almost going to hit that outer ball in the backswing, right?
Yep, totally.
And then a little cut in the follow through. So then the next swing, the very next swing, that's all I said to do. Let me blow it up here. Okay, so now we got 60% in the right heel and 75% in the left toe. Okay?
Okay.
And guess what? I should have taken a picture of the Sam Putt Lab. I didn't think of it. But every single one, he hit 3 more balls.
Yeah.
And they all within a degree of 0. So I was like, he was thrilled. I was thrilled. And it was just a little, change in balance.
And you would have never been able to teach that or have him understand that without seeing that pressure. Never in a trillion years.
I couldn't see that if I was just looking at a video.
No, never. That tiny of an adjustment.
And I do a lot of exercises with people. I'm like, okay, let's set up in your heels. Let's set up in your toes. That's all good for awareness, but to have that ability to identify it that quickly, right? And know that it was right toe, left heel. All right, well, let's flip it around. And it was great.
Yeah, great for the golf business, you guys, to be able to make a change that quickly. And, even if you don't know how to diagnose a trace, earlier Terry and I went through a whole bunch of traces, and that you might not be able to quickly look at that and see that. But what Cheryl did just now with that putting and that chipping student, that was easy, right?
Easy. Like I have so many examples. These are all just from this week because I delete all my videos, because I don't want to clog up my phone. But I literally use this thing quite regularly. And it's so helpful. I shouldn't say thing, my body track. All right. Well, here's a little 20-yard pitch shot again. And I'll just show you what I like to see. A little pressure on the left side for right-handed golfer. This girl has about 66% left. And then as she swings, there's a slight pressure shift. You can see that center pressure ball move a little bit to the right, but it's not moving much at all. We're not trying to build up a lot of pressure for this shot. We don't need a lot of energy. She stays so nice and steady, right? Her head's so still.
God, it looks really good.
She really has some nice wedge action. You can see that pressure just stay nicely over that left side the whole time. That's what you want to do, folks.
Show it again. Play that one more time. It's beautiful. God.
Yeah, she's a beautiful, we're hitting kind of a medium trajectory shot here.
Gorgeous.
Senior in high school. Yeah, that's some good action.
That's really amazing. I love that pressure trace too.
All right, let's move on here. What else do I have? Let's go with a full swing now. Before and after, okay. Actually, let me do the Austin Truslow distance wedge.
Perfect.
You want me to show that again?
Yes, I do.
So this is a student that I had, and we're working hard on flighting the distance wedge low with a lot of spin. So for everybody that knows Mike Benner, he teaches Zach Johnson, who's one of the best wedge players on tour, right?
Yep.
Won the Masters by laying up on every par 5 and burning 11 out of them, 11 out of the 16 of them with his wedges. So the way Mike teaches wedges, we want the ball positioned back in the stance towards the right toe, because we want to launch the ball low. So by having the ball back, you're going to launch it lower. We want the hands forward. We want the pressure left. Let me explain as well. We also want a path that is more to the right. So we want a draw shape path, because we want the wedge coming in on a shallow angle versus a steeper angle, which would the ball would be hit higher in the face and you won't spin it as much. You want to hit the ball with the bottom 2 grooves, right? So you want to hit the ball like right in here in the bottom 2 grooves. So the shallower path, the draw path, is going to keep it shallow through the strike. And you want the shaft leaning forward. I would say most amateurs that come for a wedge lesson, they all release it early. We get them into the right setup, but they tend to release it early. So I'm going to show you Austin Truslow's wedge. This isn't him. This is one of my students. And I just want to show you the drill that I did with him, because Austin has perfect technique. But you can see how this person's going to come through with that alignment stick, trying to keep it away from his chest, and that keeps the hands forward. I would say that's the hardest thing for people when they come for a lesson to do.
In wedge shots. So yeah. You gave him an alignment stick, and what was your instruction?
My purpose was to keep the alignment stick away from your chest in the follow through. So for him to do that, he had to have the shaft leaning forward at impact, and he had to rotate through with it. But most people, they scoop it, they're adding loft. Either it's because they're like coming down steep and then they try to flip it at the bottom. Does that make sense?
It does. Folks, pay attention. That's a great drill from a top instructor.
That is a great drill, just using an alignment stick. And I'm going to show you Austin's swing. He came in last week for a lesson with Mike, and I happened to be there, so it was like perfect timing. This is his first wedge shot, and he's a great Korn Ferry player. He's played in 4 PGA Tour events as well. So Mike almost cringed when he saw this, because he's like, wait a minute, he's got 60% of his weight on his right foot, right? Yeah. What's going on here? And he was launching the ball about 33 degrees. So we like to see it launch 25 to 26. So he was really flighting him high, and he was complaining about it. So, I mean, the first thing Mike did was really get his pressure more on the left side. Okay. So the next video is going to show us right here. All right, so now we're up to 60% on the left. It helped a little bit, but it only got it down to about 31. So the next issue was the ball position. So Austin had it kind of under his right eye there.
Yeah.
Mike wants it under the right ear.
Okay.
So this still launched a little too high. And then once Austin put the ball more under his right ear, which should be the next video I'm going to show you. Boy, he started spinning those wedges a ton, north of 9,000. Like,
really?
Oh yeah, it was amazing. As soon as he got that, low launch, and you're going to see how his hands look like they're nice and forward.
Wow, look at that. Woo!
Pretty textbook, but he's worked on that his whole life, right? And you can see I'll blow up the pressure here. So he's got 62% left now versus 40%, a few swings ago.
Yep.
And there's not a lot, there's a little bit of pressure shift. Such a steady head. Notice the open stance too. So when we put the ball position that far back, it does make the path go out to the right. Zach Johnson's path is actually 10 degrees right with his wedges, and he's closing the face 9 degrees to that path.
Huh.
All right, so now when he gets back to impact here, you can see 96% on that left side. So that's how you compress that ball and get lots of spin.
Awesome. And ball position under the right ear.
Yes.
Okay.
Shaft forward by the left thigh, ball position under the right ear. And again, 60% at least on the left side to begin with.
Cheryl, are you moving on to a new golfer?
Yeah.
We have a question about one of the gals. I think it was the second gal you showed. She was asking is she on the ball of the left foot at impact on that pitch shot? Do you remember? Can you pull that video? They're asking, yeah. Philip is asking, is she on the ball of the left foot at impact on that pitch shot?
Do you mean, the second girl or the first girl?
I'm not sure because we looked at 2 pitch shots.
If it's the first girl, yes, the one that had the path that was going out to in, I just kind of encouraged her to feel more pressure on the left toe area, the left ball of the foot.
Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing.
And this girl's right over the middle of her foot when she's hitting it. Toe heel. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. And let me just show you, since I'm on that topic of Austin, we have this hanging in the bay for
I love this.
People to see, right? So there's Zach Johnson's TrackMan numbers. And look at the 60-degree wedge, right? Launching 25 to 26 degrees. The path 10 degrees right. Again, ball position being back is going to make the path go more right, but he's also coming in with a draw shape path.
Okay.
And so the face is slightly open at impact, just a degree. So the ball starts right. We want to have a draw shape on our wedge shots. We're trying to attack the pin, have a consistent stock ball flight. And the other thing with the draw, typically all your greens are front to back like this. Mm-hmm. So when you're coming in from that right side, you're going to leave yourself with a right to left putt. Chances Perfect. Of making those are greater.
Yep.
Okay. And yeah, that was Austin's spin with a range ball. As soon as he applied all of those, really just getting the ball back for him and the pressure left. Okay.
Moving. I have a question on that chart. Ken is asking, where do you get your standard measurements from? For example, you were looking for 25 to 26 degrees for the wedge flight from the students 31 or 32. Where do you guys get this? I mean, I'm sure they're your standards, Mike Bender's.
Yeah, I would say mostly from experimentation with one of the best wedge players in the world. That's what Zach does. And we use the TrackMan with, well, Mike uses the TrackMan with him all the time. And we have distance. We have our wedge range has ropes on it. So it looks like a volleyball net out there. And our students practice out there and they can see where the ball's launching, right? So we want them launching towards the bottom rope. The top rope is about 35 degrees. The bottom's 24. So it's a great way to work on it.
Cheryl, Kathy's asking what device you're using V1 on.
My iPhone right now.
And you guys have a studio, correct?
Oh yeah, we have probably 7 computers at the academy with the V1 on it.
So Kathy, to answer your question, all the Mike Bender instructors have the software on their phones or iPad, but they also have 7 bays.
Yeah, I use it on the computer at work most of the time.
I think a lot of people love the computer because of the mouse and it's easier to use the drawing tools, and but the phone is so convenient.
The phone's convenient when I take the body track outside.
Yep. What is the height of the let's see, how far away are those ropes? And they want to know the height of those ropes.
Oh, I should know that. How can I get them that information? I'd have to go out and measure it actually.
Kathy McPherson, please send me an email and I will connect you with.
Kathy, I'll send it to you. I'll write a note now.
Cheryl's got you. She'll send that over to you, Kathy. Thank you. Okay, sorry, I was picking off some questions there.
Let's go with this guy here.
Cool.
Look at that trace. Everybody see that?
Ooh, yes.
That's known as the fish hook. Okay, so his pressure would go so far into his heel. Let's see if we can see it here in the backswing. You can see his toes come up. Okay, this is a past shanker. So he had a habit of shanking. So we think he got into the heel like that because he was afraid of shanking it. He was getting farther away from the golf ball. All right. So then now the downswing, we're going to see his pressure go way out in the toes. So he's got like,
holy mackerel,
90 whatever percent up in that left toe. And he just struggles with coming over the top, like a steeper angle of attack. The hosel still gets into play. All right, so now I just need to find what I did to work on with this issue. So I have to go, oh, here's a nice before and after too. So there's the before on the left.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay, so we're getting there. It's
yep.
Not perfect yet, but we can see the pressure getting a little more to the middle of the foot now. All right, now let me just go back to the V1 here and find his swing. There we go. So now here's what I'm working on. I know it's still steep coming down, but I literally just had him feel like he picked his left toes up off the ground, like through the downswing. I'm just trying to get all that pressure out of the left toe area. And that helped a ton. The hosel wasn't in the way anymore.
Right.
Started hitting it a lot more solid. But it's great to have the ability to measure. So now I know where we started, right?
Yep.
I have a goal. We both have a goal and we're trying to get there. So I like having that data. And I want to show you one more thing from him as well.
Yeah, I was about to say there's got to be a drill here.
Right. So just trying to see how he's going to hit that noodle, but at least the shaft angle's coming a little more from the inside. So part of the reason he gets so far out in his toes is because that shaft angle is getting so steep and it's throwing him out in the toes. So this is definitely part of his prescription.
Yes.
Got to set up with that noodle, but again, just keeping that left toe up in the air. And I also want to show you one more thing.
Do you ever put half a tennis ball under the mat, under the left toe?
Yep, that's a really good one. I should have put that under the mat. Thank you.
Well, it's funny because I've talked about that drill so much, and I've made a joke that I'm going to cut tennis balls in half, and it's going to be like the favor I send with pressure mats.
Nice. Yeah, I also tried this, putting them on the
nice. There you go.
feet. Okay, and just keeping them off of those toes. So, you know.
What do you have under his toes? What is that?
That's something from Eyeline Golf. It's just got a little, like a bubble. It's like a noodle, okay, through his feet. And I was just trying to keep the pressure away from his toes through impact.
Yeah.
He started to feel it going a little bit more to the center of his foot and the heel.
So when you did his voiceover and you sent him that after the lesson, what were your words? What did you tell him to think about?
Yeah, I just told him to keep the left toes off the ground, completely off the ground when he's swinging right now. And to feel as though he's coming down on the inside of the noodle. We want the downswing to feel like his arms are going to come close to his body instead of out. So, and I showed him how to set the noodle up.
Cool. I have a question, and Cheryl, I got this question earlier in the seminar, and I actually texted Terry to help us answer it, and I want to get your opinion on it as well. Laura Jansen has asked this. My mentor said the pressure mat isn't precise enough to use on the ground because the ground is soft and not perfectly even. Laura, thank you for that question. I sell pressure mats all the time. One of the things I sell is the fact that you can put it in an uneven lie or on any surface. So during my session with Terry, he answered that pretty in detail. I would ask you to go, please watch that seminar. But what he says is, and he just texted me this, with regards to the verticals, we give you a relative value of 1, regardless of where you're standing. So if you're standing on a hard concrete surface, you're starting at a value of 1. If you put it in a super soft sand trap, you're still starting at a value of 1. So you're always starting consistently at the same, value so that you get a consistent reading. That's Terry, who developed the Body Track's response to your question. And please, for more detail and to hear him describe that in better detail, watch the seminar that I did with him a few hours ago. Cheryl, do you see that? Do you see issues with having it in the studio, maybe on your hitting mat versus in super soft sand?
The only problem I had, and one of my students made me aware of it, on the mat in our bay, it started to get a little worn out from where people were standing. So I just, and that would kind of lower it. So I just flipped the mat around and made it more even. But I haven't noticed anything other than that.
Cool. Thank you. You guys, just a little bit about the mat. The pressure mat technology is on the bottom. It snaps to what I call a high-end doormat. The technology is on the bottom and the doormat's on the top. So you can stand on it with wet feet or with cleats. And like I said, it's 9.6 pounds. It's flexible and you can put it anywhere. Laura, thanks for that question. And Don, the pressure mat it retails for $3,500, but it is on special right now for $3,000. Okay, Cheryl, who you got?
All right, so this would be an example of an abbreviated trace. This gentleman, he's going to swing back and we're going to see that center of pressure. It's not really moving away from that midline. That's his full turn right there. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was his full turn.
Wow.
So he gets to his left side, no problem. But we want a little more power. We want to get the ball higher. So right now he's kind of fighting that pull, kind of a slicing motion. So I'll show you the drill that I had him do. This is a very common one that we all do at the Mike Benner Golf Academy.
You know what? Mike talked about this. He spoke about this.
Drill.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he got it from Martin Hall. So thank you, Martin.
And he said that. He gave Martin credit for it.
So the idea here is we tell the student, okay, put your butt on the wall and you're going to turn back and try and touch the wall with your hands. You want to get your hands to the wall. So in so doing, you can see how much further back that center of pressure trace is going. So now we got 75% getting into his right side. So he's going to have more potential energy to work with.
Right.
Okay. So we did that for like a minute and then we went back and this was the next shot here. I got him to tilt a little more in the setup. We like to see that left ear in line with the ball.
Right.
Especially for the irons. So I just told him to turn and touch the wall. There we go. That's a lot better.
A lot better. Wow. Cheryl,
Okay.
is he an older guy and just super unflexible?
I mean, man, I don't know, maybe late 50s.
Oh, that's not old at all.
No, he's got the ability to do it, but there's a control factor there. So he kind of feels, and a lot of people feel this way where they lose control when they make that big a turn.
But he can turn on the other way.
He turns through it great.
That's so weird. Why is that? What is that? Is that, has he been playing golf forever and he's just focusing on the fault? Why can one turn one way and not the other?
Well, again, I honestly think for him, he's afraid of losing his ball. So
okay,
with this more abbreviated swing, right? It's kind of like a knockdown shot or a wedge shot. You're not going to be as errant. So I think that was part of the problem.
Interesting. Okay.
So we had to let go of some control. And he felt like he was in the twilight zone, the way he explained that turn, you know?
Really?
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm going to lose sight of the ball. But, you know.
Huh. Interesting. So what drills did you leave him with?
The wall drill.
The wall? Yeah.
That was
do that
it.
anywhere.
Right? Something you can do every day. Let's show you Nancy. Hey, Nancy, I know she's watching too.
Hi, Nancy. Gosh, she's fancy. I like that outfit.
Fancy Nancy. So we've got a bit of a scattered trace here. All right. This was a couple weeks ago. So
no offense, but Terry calls this the money trace.
The money trace, right? Keeps me in business, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, we're going to see typical, right? Someone coming a little steep into the ball, a little over the top, going to cut across it and hit it into the toe a little bit. We can see her pressure just kind of backing up, right?
Yep, yep.
So she's got like 90% of her pressure on the back side. So right away, I needed to make sure that I did a good job explaining that we got to make sure we come at the ball from inside. So we set up this impact bag drill a lot. So the bag represents a golf ball. And we explain to our students, okay, we want to hit the golf ball from inside the target line. So if this is the target line here, we want the club approaching it. So Nancy's doing a great job here of turning and touching the wall like I got that other gentleman to do.
Right.
So that's the first step. Like when you get that nice depth in your backswing, it's just so much easier to come down to the ball from the inside. So I'm really happy with how that looked and had her spin the bag to the right. And then what else did we do?
Funny, Mike said, what training aids do you use? And someone brought up the impact bag and he goes, yeah, we love the impact bag, except we don't use it for impact.
Yeah, we spin it to the right and we use it for speed drills.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other thing we did, we went into the gym and I used a Mach 3 speed drill. And what I had her do was I had her start on her left foot so she could just kind of feel the pressure. Because remember, she was like 90% on her right foot.
Right.
With the ball. So let's start on the left, feel it there, and then swing back, feel like you're turning and touching the wall. And then the instructions were to swing that rope like to the right corner. Okay. And then look at how nicely she's getting that pressure into the left side. I mean, that looks great. So
yeah, it does.
We're going to be doing that, a lot. And then we outside. Let's see where I think I got one more video.
Awesome.
So I just had to do the same thing. Start with the club out left. Feel the pressure there and then swing back, right?
Yep.
Good turn. And then, try to feel like you're going to spin that impact bag to the right. Look at their pressure now. So she's really getting the hang of that.
So much better.
Getting to that left side. So again, there's like the prescription, right? And I learned this from Rick Jensen, Dr. Rick Jensen. He's a great sports psychologist and an expert in motor skill acquisition, but he always said 25% of the battle is understanding it, the cognitive process. So that's my job. I need to make sure I explain it to her so she gets it. And now the other 75% is time on task, hitting balls, making sure that you're doing it the proper way.
Right.
Right. So, and there's drills that I give to people that might not be the best way. So it's kind of like, this is where the coaching aspect comes in. You kind of work with each other and decipher what's going to help me most. The student has to tell me, I get that, or that's not going to work.
Right.
Okay.
Cheryl, do you mind ending your screen share for just a second?
Of course.
I wanted to see your face. I have two questions that I want to ask you. It's about juniors. And so I wanted to have you, I wanted to see your face. So Valerie earlier in our session asked a question and I was kind of saving it because it's a special thing to talk about and I wanted to ask you about it. So Valerie said, Mandy, can you please pass along to Cheryl that for the last 4 years, I've been running a golf program for Golf Special Olympics. I was asked to start a program and did. I have 8 students with 5 on the waiting list. She said she would love to take every single one of them. Thanks, Valerie, for sharing that. It leads me into a question. I'd love for you to talk about Chris and the 1%. And they have a special place for Down syndrome kiddos.
Yeah,
so thank you, Valerie.
Down syndrome. So Chris Nikich, the Iron Man, the boy that has blown away the world in the last month. He's the first person with Down syndrome to complete an Ironman. So the way he did it, he got 1% better. And this was about 1.5 years ago. He couldn't even do a push-up. So each day he just got a little bit better. And then he accomplished his goal. So what a great lesson for all of us. And now I teach him golf and his goal is to break 80. So we're getting 1% better each time. He comes out and practices almost every day while training.
Really?
While training for the Ironman in Hawaii. And why not? It's amazing how, what's the right word for Chris? Inspirational he is. People just don't understand unless someone with Down syndrome. Things are just so hard. Even picking up a golf club, it's not as easy. The motor skills, the tasks, everything takes longer. It's the golf club almost might feel like if you had 15 gloves on. Okay. So, it just takes a little longer. You have to do things a little differently, a lot of visuals, and he's already hitting his 9-iron 120 yards.
That's amazing.
And he's got
amazing
touch around the green. So we just got to get that driver straight. I think he'll be fine.
That's awesome. Well, my team, my extended team, multiple people are watching you. We're looking for Chris. We're cheering for him. But thank you for sharing that and a little bit about the 1%. When we talked about it a few weeks ago, I know it affected a lot of us. I'm certainly trying to be 1% better in multiple areas each day. And I mean, not normal, but folks that are athletes that have been working forever to go from not even being able to do a push-up, but to win the Ironman. Are you kidding me?
To just complete the Ironman. I mean, he's at such a disadvantage. If you watch his documentary, it's amazing. It's he has to ride a bike kind of standing up. So you're fighting the wind all the time. Most Ironmen and women are riding down here low, and he can't even put his feet like in a strap in the pedal, right? Because he has a hard time kind of getting off and on the bike. So there's a lot of things that have to be factored in. It's amazing he did it. I'm so proud of him.
Amazing. That's awesome. So thank you for continuing to grow golf in all areas. And Valerie, I'd love for you guys to connect and collaborate on that. That's awesome. Another junior question, Cheryl, from Sean. He says Jake Thurm stated that he uses the pressure mat with coaching his juniors and showed a photo of the mat used in the sand trap. Do you guys at the Bender Academy use this in the junior training program as well?
Oh yeah, the body track in the junior training program, 100%. Should I show that bunker shot of Austin or?
Absolutely. And we've got 9 minutes left, so I'd love to see some more videos.
All right, I'll show you a quick one. We'll go through a few things here. So here's Austin in the bunker. So nice open wedge, nice wide stance, low knee.
Hey, you're not sharing yet.
Oh, sorry.
Do that share again.
There we go. Thank you.
Hang on, it's not there yet. There it goes.
Technology is amazing. Okay, so everything I just said, notice where his head is. Okay, now Mike was giving him a lesson here. He's only kind of pretty even on his weight distribution, kind of 50-50. And he's gonna kind of hit this one a little chunky. A little too far behind it. Didn't like it. So Mike came in there and you'll see what he did here to assist with getting more pressure on the left. So now we got 70% on the left. This was kind of the sweet spot. They experimented with 60, 70. So 65, Austin really liked. But notice how Mike's just holding his head there the whole time.
Yep.
Austin has a ton of wrist hinge to create all that speed, and then he's going to let it go. He's going to release that club. So the exact opposite of what we do with our distance wedges, right? You can see the club head passing the hands. Nice high finish, not a lot of lower body motion. You can see that pressure staying left. And one more view from down the line. I think this is really cool for people to see.
Oh, I love this one.
Yeah, there's not a lot of cutting across the ball. A lot of people come to us for bunker lessons and they're wide open and they're swinging across the ball. But Austin does a great job coming at the ball from the inside and just splashing that sand. You could see that club head releasing pretty much down the line, for lack of a better word there.
I love the view on video, specifically in that, we talk about the cameras and how the quality, you could almost use that for ball flight. We can see that ball
Definitely.
going and going. Hey, Cheryl, do you have any good drills for early extension problems for an underplane condition?
For an underplane?
Yeah.
Someone who's coming from the inside too much?
Yes.
Typically, they have to figure out how to use their hips. Okay, so a lot of times people kind of get stuck. They're not really turning through. So once people are coming from the inside, I would say that's the most important thing. And then from there, you got to feel like you're pushing that left hip back out of the way. And that'll help people to not get stuck. Okay, and the other thing too, like just kind of imagining the hands going at the golf ball in a straight line to the golf ball. Sometimes people get stuck when they drop their hands vertically down too much. Okay, so that could help.
Okay, and then 5 minutes left, but what's Greg Bisconti, your buddy, wants to know your philosophy on path and ball position in bunker play.
Yeah, so ball position, Greg, definitely like, I'm still sharing the screen here, right?
You are.
All right. So definitely, Austin has it more in the middle. Everybody's different. So I would say middle to forward for sure. The reason Austin likes it a little more in the middle, it helps him to come from the inside. So that's his best feel there. What else did he ask? Ball position and
ball position and the bunker play, path and ball position.
yeah, and Greg, we really like coming from the inside. And I remember watching the great Phil Rogers give a bunker clinic one time. He was one of the first people I heard really emphasizing coming from the inside. I mean, the guy was a magician out of the bunker. So that's pretty much what we teach. You will get a little steeper on it depending on certain lies, like plug lies, and hard pan lies. We might have a little shorter follow through, but we're still coming from the inside.
Okay. Yes, you can absolutely use the pressure mat in the bunker. And no, it does not move. You're looking at Austin. He's standing in the mat it's pretty sturdy. We talked about that earlier with Terry. You got one more? Ooh, that's a cool one. Let's see this.
All right. So here's a really good little junior player, and I don't have him on the pressure mat here. I have it on my camera, but I won't waste the time. But you can see clearly, like, whew, that's pretty common with juniors, right? They'll be jumping in the air. They're trying to get more energy
to
the ground. But interesting with this boy, look at how much lag he has coming down. I mean, this is Sergio-esque.
Yeah. Holy mackerel.
Kind of unusual to see. But anyhow, I had to get him to release it because he was hitting it low. So I said, just feel like you're going to throw the club head. Okay, just throw the club head. Like if there's paint on it, get rid of the paint, right?
Right.
And release the club, because my feeling was he was backing out of it because he had so much little loft delivered. He's trying to hang back and hit it up in the air. Okay, so solving the problem is really casting it, getting rid of it. But then also he's going to have to experience, what's it feel like to stay on that left foot. So I had him, hit some shots standing on the left foot.
So I love this drill. Jake Thurm calls it the flamingo leg.
Yeah, the flamingo drill. There we go. I was looking for a name for it. Love it. All right.
So I have 2 more questions. We have 2 minutes left. Do you mind answering 2 more questions? And I would love to see your face. So if you don't mind ending your screen share. So the 2 questions for the very last seminar of our very first virtual summit are, top instructor, what is your advice for golf instructors for the rest of the year?
What's my advice for golf instructors for the rest of the year?
How do we grow our business? What would you say? Grow your business?
I mean, now's the time people are just thirsty for golf during this pandemic, right? So create programs that inspire people to try golf, the Get Golf Readies, the LPGA 101s, just get people into the game, in a clinic environment. I think is really nice because it's fun. It's affordable. So make sure you have good programming for that.
Cool. I love that. Okay. The next question is advice for the golfer.
Wow.
Cheryl, you are a top instructor. We're heading into a new golf season. Coming off a golf season where we didn't really play. What is
find a good coach. Okay, because it's so important to get the right instruction early on. If you're trying things on your own, you might get lucky. But if you're trying things on your own, it's really hard to build a good golf game. So find a good coach in your area and, I've met so many nice people through teaching golf. I consider them friends, not only clients. So you form a nice relationship with people.
That's very cool. And I said this came about in my head when I was talking to Brian Finnerty earlier when we started our keynote kickoff yesterday. And I said, V1 is a family and we have a whole bunch of friends where we make clients and customers along the way instead of customers that we make friends along the way. So I totally believe in that. And I totally believe that's true with our company. And you are certainly a friend of the family. And thank you so much.
Thank
for
you and
sharing
everyone for helping us throughout the years. Anytime we have questions, you guys are so quick to respond. So thank you.
Sure, thank you. And that's my team. That's our support team. They're much smarter than me, and they're amazing. So I will wrap it up. I know I'm going a few minutes past. I can't believe it. It's awesome that we got through 2 awesome days with the best golf instructors literally on the planet. I can't wait to do it again. And thank you for all the comments. Thanks to the team. And thank you, Cheryl. Everyone have a wonderful evening, and we will see you soon. Cheers. Peace.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, guys.